right, so it looks like we are recording. Welcome to factoring part 2. So what's missing? So we're going to break it down. Hopefully you found in the first one, part A, that it was a reminder of last class, which is good. I'll give you a moment here. Go ahead and pause the video to check that your answers match. Sweet. All right, so first thing I want to have you notice is in this case, there's really this invisible 1 out front. So this is what we're saying is that our quadratic coefficient A is equal to 1. But we see that in part C, our quadratic coefficient is equal to 2. And then in part D, the quadratic coefficient is equal to 3. So we're seeing this case where it is not always equal to 1, and that's what we're going to explore. So the cool thing, right, that we see is that, 2x times x gets you 2x. But then, right, we know that we have this number 12. And if you're given 3, you know that 3 has to multiply by something to get to 12, which is how you can get 4, right? And then that leaves you with your middle terms on 11x. So the key thoughts are 2x times what gets me 2x squared? Right? 2x times what gets you x squared? And then 3 times what gets you 12? From there, it should be able to fill in the gaps to match up with 11x. All right, so kind of zooming down, looking at the last one, to break it down, how I really suggest it, always start with looking first at your quadratic terms, okay? So what you want to do first is identify factors of 4x squared. You're going to identify factors of your quadratic coefficient, your leading terms. So in this case, it can be 4x times x. It could be 2x times 2x. So right, we're looking for 2 terms that work together, factor nicely. And then, so you can match that here. And then the other thing you want to do is look for factors of 11. We love our prime numbers. It's just 1 times 11. This makes it super handy when you're running it through, because then what you have, there's only 3 possible combos. I'll write it in red, right? So there's 3 possible combos. What do I mean by that? Well, you know that your first case, right, you said, okay, well, there's a 4x and there's an x. And then we know the other terms, right, the other factors is 1 and 11. So this is one combo. But what you could do is switch 1 and 11. So you could also have it factored as 4x plus 11 times x plus 1. This is a different factorization. And then we have our last one, right, when we said, well, we have 2x and we have 2x, okay? Well, in this case, it doesn't matter which one is which, where you put 11 and 1, because the other terms are the same. So you have these 3 possible combos, right? But notice right off the bat, when you multiply 4x times 11, that gets you 44x, which is no good since it's 24. So that's a no good, right? So this one does not work. And then in the next one, we have that same issue where we are looking where we have 4x and then we have 11x, and that gets you 15x, which is also no good. But this last one, the winning one, does get you there. If you don't trust me, go ahead and work it out, but you should find always that out of your winning cases, there's only ever one. You'll only ever have one winning case for your possible factorization. So to kind of help break that down when it's saying what are the relationships, ideally we identified when we're looking at this that our leading R times P is the quadratic coefficient. And then S times Q is the constant coefficient. And finally, the addition of our other two terms, R times Q plus S times P, that is the linear coefficient. Whew. All right, so I know it's a lot. I really recommend using color when you can. We're just gonna bop into some quick notes and then let you do some practice. So when you're factoring quadratics, when a does not equal 1, we're going to look at it as this general thought process that we have it set up. So this is going to be when there's some number in front of x, and then we'll do plus or minus some other number, multiplied by some number in front of x, plus or minus some other number. So when we do this, right, we should ideally get it in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. All right. Now is going to be a great time to get a colored pens out to be able to kind of follow along with this process. So when we're looking to FOIL, we take our first, when you multiply those two numbers, you will get this component. And then when you multiply your last terms, you get your constant coefficient. Your first is, let's reset on that one. Right, so we just did our first in pink. Now we're going in with the green, so that's going to be the outer. So the outer and the inner, there we go, outer and inner, get you b of x. So to sum it all up, look for factors of a and factors of C and test which combos, right, again, right when you see the word combos, we want to think about these, right? These are the possible combos that we referenced. So you're going to test which of those combos give you the correct B. All right. So that's just about it for quick notes. We're just going to add up in that top right corner. Quick reminder to take out your GCF whenever it's possible. You will see that in one of the problems down below. All right, so now's a good time to pause, go back, grab any of the notes that you want. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out on this page so you can check your answers for the check for understanding after you've done them yourself. All right, ladies, do the work first, and then look at the videos to check to make sure it makes sense.